More now on the impact of the planned withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria. The Yazidis are a minority community targeted by ISIL in the Middle East. Pari Ibrahim is the founder and executive director of the Free Yezidi Foundation. She's joining us from Washington. Good to speak to you on Al Jazeera. So your organization says this, that any premature withdrawal of the United States forces from Syria will effectively endanger religious minorities like the Yazidis. Explain why you think a U.S. withdrawal is an existential threat to the minority groups.
Well, we wrote this report because we have a lot of concerns. One of the concerns is that we know that Daesh is still existing in Syria. The numbers vary from 14,000 till 30,000 ISIS members. Aside from that, we also know that a lot of the ISIS fighters have melted into the population. And as soon as there is an opportunity, another group like Daesh will start to organize and gain strength. We saw in 2014 that ISIS started attacking the Yazidi communities, the Christians, committing a genocide against the Yazidis with not a lot of numbers of fighters. So this is one of our concerns. Aside from this, one of the concerns that we have written in the report is that we see that this will be an opportunity for Turkey to start fighting to gain power in parts of Syria. And what we now know is that SDF is one of the strongest forces against ISIS. And if the U.S. withdraws its troops, there is not a lot of strength for SDF to continue this fight against Daesh and against Turkey at that moment.
Even though
so
Turkey and
really
Erdogan in a New York Times op-ed has in fact said that Turkey is committed to defeating the Islamic State as well as other quote-unquote terrorist groups in Syria. But let me ask you this, because it's not the Yazidis alone that you're concerned about. There are other minority groups as well.
Yes, of course. I mean, the genocide against the Yazidis is one of the things we are mainly focusing on. But of course, we have to give early warning signs if there are threat to religious minorities, to ethnic cleansing of religious minorities. We all know that if we look back into Afrin, what happened there when Turkey started to attack that territory, a lot of the Yazidis and Christians and other minorities were living in coexistence. Now they can live there, but not in a way they used to live. So we are concerned about all minorities, all religious minorities who are living in that area. We're talking about Syria and Iraq. This will have a big effect on the communities in both countries.
And you also underscore the importance of solidarity with the international community and those who combat ISIL. What is the international community's role, in fact, in protecting religious minorities?
I mean, we've seen from a lot of different governments that they really want to try to protect ethnic religious minority groups like the Yazidis, like the Christians. There's a big push to make sure that these communities can go back to where they came from. We're talking for the Yazidis about Sinjar, but we always have to remember that if we're going to invest a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money in returning these populations, we have to make sure that there is, if there are dangers, if there are signs of these things that can happen again to these religious minorities, we have to be sure that there is a security plan to get these people out of there.
All right, Pari Ibrahim, we thank you very much for speaking to us from Washington.